friends, welcome to another video. Some of my inspiration for making the videos comes from questions that you ask me, and I love them. So a question that came up recently to me, which I had to think about for a few minutes, or actually I pondered about it now for a couple of days. And that question was, what are we supposed to do now that everything is so out of our control? So, after pondering it for a little bit, I came to this sort of realization, or something that's, maybe some of you already think about all the time. And that is, this is actually not new. Things are not in our control. Not now, but things were not in our control before COVID. And that's really interesting because there's this false misconception that before COVID, everything was in our control, but now everything's out of our control. And what I challenge is, nothing was in our control before either. So everything that we thought, we make these safety things for ourselves. We run our lives a certain way that it feels like everything is in our control. And some of us, including me, are more control freakish than others. And so the misconception is, it's not that everything is out of our control now and it was so in our control before. No. Things are not in our control as much as we think they are. So this particular incident is no different than the way it was before COVID. So what I would like to say also is the planet, it's doing what it always does. The planet is always changing. The world is always changing. It's just doing what it does. It's our human response to this change that's throwing us off. But if you look around you in nature and all the other animals, they're just doing what they're doing. So humans are amazing because we are so resilient and we have survived and we have so much intellect. So what I'd like to sort of conclude with today is that idea of control, and that things were not in our control. They're not in our control now, but what we can control is how we respond to the world. How do we respond? How do we show up to our life? That is in your control. How you show up every day is in your control. Show up to your office, show up for your family, show up for your friends, show up for yourself. All of that is in your control. So how are you going to show up during this time? And this is not a big philosophical question. This is a question of today. Most of you watch this video in the morning. So today, how are you going to show up? Are you going to be happy, sad, angry, all of those? Are your moods going to go up and down? And let's bring some awareness to the way we respond to the world. And bringing that awareness and seeing how we respond, and that response is in our control, that brings awareness. And I think here you hear me talk a lot about awareness and a lot about the way we show up. But I truly believe that nothing is more important than taking this time to really see these patterns. You see the patterns that your mind goes through. We did all of that work together a few videos ago about the stress response and the stress reaction. And there's no better time in this time that we're all confined and a lot of us are not doing, which many of us are still doing, but this is the time to see, how are we showing up? Because what we do now here is going to carry with us the rest of our life. Post-COVID, many of us are trying to predict what's going to happen after. Humans are amazing at constantly projecting. So if you're spending most of your day thinking about how you're going to come out of COVID, you don't know. I don't know. How's dentistry going to look? How's financial going to look? When are we going to get back? And what will the world look like? We don't know. So all we can do is to just build these practices so that no matter what happens in the world post-COVID, we're ready to go into it with a bit more awareness. Thank you for joining me for these videos. I really, it's humbling and it's heartwarming to know that a lot of you watch and these are making a difference for you. I'll see you tomorrow.